Somebody I respect asked me a question the other day, and so I thought I'd answer here. If one person asks the question, sometimes it's because other people are wondering too. She wondered why I felt so passionately about the outcome of this election when other people of color she knew didn't feel that way. They said that whoever won the election really didn't matter to them. It wasn't going to impact their lives one way or the other. Well, there's three things I would say to that. Number one, federal policy touches everyone. From the taxes you pay on your cell phone bill, to how much you pay for food at the grocery store, to whether or not your food is safe, to your health care, federal policy impacts everyone. It filters down to state and local governments, as does money. So while you may not see directly that the federal government is impacting you, they absolutely are. Number two, it's about examples. If you have people in power who show poor behavior, and that poor behavior is without consequence, like bullying people, openly being racist, being a bigot, or being divisive, these things matter to the health and welfare of all of us. It's safe to say that over the last 5 years, we've seen divisiveness in America reach epidemic proportions right alongside what's happening with the global pandemic. We, as a country, are in crisis. The only way to change our trajectory is to have different people in power. Lastly, healthcare. If you haven't noticed, whether you believe in it or not, there's a global pandemic happening. People are dying in this country at phenomenal rates. What happens to healthcare in our country is directly impacted by the administration. Whether it's ripping and replacing Obamacare or building on top of it to make something better, Medicare for all or Medicare for none, whatever happens is going to come from the federal government. So whether you realize it or not, your health care is dependent upon the wisdom, compassion, and competence of the federal administration. Now that plays out in private markets with your private insurance or in the marketplaces that were created by Obamacare. And there's lots of room for compromise and adjustment about healthcare in this country. But policy discussions aside, we're in the middle of a pandemic. The federal government failed to lead and bring states together in a cohesive federal policy. We all need to lean in to defeat this virus. And without leadership that understands this, we're not going to win, and more of our fellow Americans are going to die. So maybe as a person of color, I could say that doesn't impact me, except for the fact that Black and brown communities are being disproportionately impacted by this virus. So yeah, it actually does. At the end of the day, we can all pretend that government doesn't impact us, but it does. We have to lean in. We have to rise up. We have to step forward, and we have to create solutions together to make this a country that is not only embracing of its citizens, but respected around the world. This is something I believe we can get back to, but we weren't ever going to get there unless there was a change in our administration. Yes, I was very passionate about this election. I understand the impact of the federal government and what it means. I, for one, want to be a proud American again, here and around the world. And there was nothing to be proud of with the Trump administration.